Hey, everybody. Hope you're having a great day. Wanted to do this last video on Malachi Martin and kind of give my take on it. Actually, I think I probably have given in each video. Anyway, so we're going to actually get into that. Let me do this. Boom. Yeah, this is going to be my last one on Malachi Martin just because some of his points are really good and some of his points are just out there, like way out there. All right, let's listen.
Those who are sort of in the middle of a giant battle.
That
That's
was
right.
loud.
When you find some, the typical things
So
of somebody
sorry.
throwing themselves on the ground or cursing and spitting and protesting and
Yes.
defecating, urinating and all sorts of protest. What they're doing is protesting, saying, help me.
Yes.
Help me. The perfectly possessed, we call them, the perfectly possessed, are those that are completely at peace. And I've known several of the perfectly possessed, and I avoid them like the pest. And you know them only by almost accidental means. Sometimes they're perfectly normal, by the way, and they've got great business property. They're married, they have children and wives.
So, kind of recap, I guess. I listened to this several times and I caught different things at different times when I was listening. But some of his points, I'm telling you, just you listen, they're so far out there. It is unbelievable.
And they put down responsible jobs. There's nothing wrong there. Now and again, just now and again, it's as it were, a veil is drawn aside. And you see somebody you don't know at all. You just don't know this person, this man, this woman.
But earlier in his thing, he did state that they won't ever know. We might not ever know if they're possessed or not. That I just feel like this is contradicting himself.
And there's a completely alien look, a completely alien attitude, and they breathe alienation. And you know then, if you have a nose for it, you know then that they're perfectly possessed and there's nothing to be done about it. The first man I knew like that was called Beedham, John Beedham. And it was a frightening experience because I had known him for years.
In other words, their pact, their deal, they are at peace.
So I do have a question for you. Not only in this one, but another one that I had listened to, another interview that he had done. And it was a little strange because it's like he's kind of contradicting. Like 1 minute he says one thing and next he says another. But let me ask you a question. Forget it.
With and comfortable with their deal.
Right. That's right. And they have passed through the usual Satanist rituals too. The three Satanist rituals: the power of inflicting pain, the power of hating, and the power of burning. Fire. Fire is part of the Satanist and the Luciferian development, and they've passed through all those with flying colors.
Doctor, I want to circle back for a second.
Sure.
You scared me quite well. You said, and this was going to be a major...
Is this scaring any of y'all at all? Not me.
Major question for you this morning.
Yeah.
I talked to you about the quickening.
Yeah.
I didn't even get to all the facets. To me, it's many, many things. But you said there was a huge increase in the number of possessions, and I was going to ask you that. To me, that just adds to the pile. That is true. There's more now.
It's about, since 1975, when I really started in earnest exorcisms in the United States, it's about 800% increase in frequency.
And y'all think about this too. I have to agree with him. Now, I don't know about the exorcisms. I don't know any of, how many. I know they keep track or whatever they have to. But when, back, oh my God, I got to turn my phone off. Think about when he was talking about the early 70s. Think about the music that came in, the movies that started coming out. women were in an Elvis movie, and you can see everything. And back then, I still watch I Love Lucy, and um they couldn't talk even in the 50s. You couldn't talk about having a baby or anything like that, and they didn't sleep in the same beds. So imagine, how we're going, and Satan is like coming in or whatever and trying to manipulate people. I Do you think people sell their soul to the devil just to get fame, just to have money? Just curious of what y'all think.
Oh my.
Frequency. And it's extraordinary. It's extraordinary. And the one part of the phenomenon of this art, that now, for the first time, exorcists and psychiatrists are working closely together. And I work with psychiatrists. I do the spiritual side of it, and they do the psychiatric end of it. There's always a psychiatric preparation and follow-up on after an exorcism.
You mentioned that one psychiatrist...
Because they're so hard on a person mentally and physically. And that one, Rob, whatever his name is, Bob, whatever, I did a couple of videos on exposing the real exorcist, as he calls himself. But anyway.
Simply gave up psychiatry.
That's right.
I can tell I'm tired, and I'm going to do this video and get it out, because I didn't do one over the weekend at all. So I apologize if I'm kind of like bouncing around or whatever, but I'm really not. Just trying to make sure I collect my thoughts on this.
I gave him a code name of Hammond. That's not his real name. But he was very, very skeptical about it all. And finally I said, okay, doctor, look, if you insist, but you must have some protection. He wasn't a Catholic, by the way. But he was a very honest, sincere man. I didn't mean but. He was. And once he went through it, that was it. He would never touch another possessed person. He would never touch psychiatry ever again. He went off and did something else. He was a qualified doctor and became an only MD. And confined himself to that.
Doctor, how frequently do you think psychiatrists who are treating patients, or what percentage of their patients might indeed, instead of suffering psychiatric problems, be suffering some form of possession?
Over 50% of the cases I have observed.
Over 50%. That's a lot. That's a lot.
Wow.
Well over 50% are really possessed by demons, and of course nothing can be done about it.
And in that letter in the 90s, when they put that statement out about exorcisms, there was a statement in there. Not really about how many, but what they have to go through. They have to go through medical exams. They have to go to a psychiatrist. Then they come to the exorcist. So you've got steps that you have to take. And that helps determine whether this patient is just really, really gone, or if this patient is actually possessed.
They're diagnosed as schizophrenic, or as MPDs, or as whatever. And there's no succor for them. There is no succor or help for them at all.
When you have done your job, and when we come back from the top of the hour, we'll talk about what an actual exorcism is like. I guess I want to know. But when you have done your job, and it's all over, and
we're going to skip forward just a little bit.
Leaves.
Good, normal American families, and they have reared their children to be Satanists and to accept possession. And they would, unless they stopped themselves, pass it on to their children. And it's been going on for well over 200 years.
All right, doctor, hold it right there. Relax. You've got 8 or 9 minutes. I need 8 or 9 minutes after the fact that it apparently is generational, doctor, generational possession.
Yes. It's
okay. This is kind of interesting. Just listen.
Let me explain that. It's not that possession is passed on with semen, passed on with genes. No. It's that the same demon inhabits the members of the same family for generations, consensually. He is nourished by them and kept by them and satisfied with them. The children are trained in it, and they perpetuate it in their children. It has gone on for generations. It's generational. And sometimes unwillingly, we have cases.
I don't know about that. I just don't know about that.
In hand, for instance, of daughters to whom their mother attached her familiar, her evil spirit, and then we have the job of ridding them of that, and it takes time. And
why is it always got to be the mother? Why?
It's painful and anguishing.
How does a person know? Does a person know? I mean, is in the mind or the soul of the possessed?
Yes.
Is there always knowledge of that possession?
There is, but it can be limited knowledge, and can also be inhibited knowledge.
But like he's contradicting himself right here from the very beginning of the book to now.
Some of them can't even tell you about it. Some of them can. It depends on the particular type of demon. There are many types of demons. Some of them are quite intelligent. Some of them are very stupid. Most of them are specialized in one thing and one thing only, and that's all they can do. And it's a reflection of some gift as angels which they had, now distorted as demons. And in these matters, as in everything connected with it, go to the experts. Don't try and do it yourself.
Yes.
And then
that's another reason why I did that on that Bob Larson, to expose him. Go to an expert, like serious. I mean, a lot of people go to Google and they go to YouTube or wherever and try to find certain things. And a lot of times you got phonies and frauds out there. I'm not saying Malachi Martin is, a phony, because I don't believe that he is. I just believe some of his views on things are a little skewed, especially from my own beliefs. But that's none here nor there.
And do not, a big confusion out which we should clear up for everybody, and it's this. There are many healers and deliverance experts, and many people will undergo lengthy prayers and incensings and various ceremonies. But the truth is this, the horrible truth is this, that if there is a demon in your life, and he dictates your behavior, at least in one province of life, one area of life, he can only be expelled by direct confrontation, by somebody with authority to expel him. So when I say him, of course, spirits have no sex. They're not male or female. I just use him in the generic sense of the English word.
But you also have to know what demon you're trying to cast out, or what spirit that is attached to that person.
It's a confrontation. It's not a prayer. Gee whiz, if it was a prayer, it'd be very simple to get rid of them.
All right, this is something I want to ask about, if I might, for a moment, Doctor.
Sure.
I had a call a couple of weeks ago from a woman who said that she had been in bed, believe this, with her children one night, and she was attacked, Doctor, attacked by some sort of demon or spirit that was actually...
Do y'all believe that that could actually happen? Y'all let me know. Because I'll let y'all know what my beliefs are. But type it in the comments. Do you believe that situation could happen with a demon? Do you believe a demon can hold you down and you not be able to get up, or any type of spiritual anything?
Actually waiting upon her, actually trying to sodomize and rape her, and she was unable to speak, unable to move, unable to utter anything. And in the middle of this attack, The phone rang, the answering machine came on, somebody's voice began speaking, and whatever it was left. Now, she said that the only way this thing would leave, and she'd been attacked many times, was if she audibleized some sort of something. And she said, I sat there and I prayed and I asked God to cast off whatever this was.
Yes.
And it would not go. And my question was, and I pondered after the call, it was a very serious, very scary call.
Yes.
And I pondered afterwards, if God hears our prayers, those cast silently forward,
yes,
then why would God not hear a silent plea, a scream?
That is a very good question.
As it were, why must something like this be audibleized?
There are mysteries about this entire situation to which we have no answer. But there are laws. He has set up laws governing the existence of man and woman, and one of them is that audibleizing something does make a difference. And
so the demon or whatever was possessing her was holding her down, making her audibleize what she's feeling. So do y'all think that could actually happen?
It can be as simple as this, that the attention that a demon requires of the possessed person or the person they're going to violate can be that possession can be distracted. Their will can be diverted. Their mind can be diverted from being, as it were, hypnotized, being held by some audible voice message from another normal human being. And God knows what grace of God that voice brings with them.
But why is it that we are ingrained in our heads or brains that once we ask God for help, imagine if that was actually that taking place in real life, and her asking God and God not responding or, having this person go away. That's where I have my issues.
But that it does happen, that audibilization does have an influence, there's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it.
And there's no specific answer as to
no specific answer. And Art, there's the biggest problem is who is possessable. People are always asking me, am I liable to be possessed? And we have tried to create a profile of the possessable person, but we have found that neither sex, nor education, nor color, nor race, nor education, nor riches, nor poverty, nothing makes a difference. It's apparently, to our mind, it's random. A random choice.
It can't be just random. There's a reason why, just because we haven't figured it out. But I don't feel like it's random.
I know very naughty people.
Yes.
Who are not a bit possessed. They're just very naughty men and women. And then I know people who are not naughty at all, but lapse in one thing, and they do undergo possession.
Knowing the nature of humans, if somebody has made, in effect, a pact with the devil,
yes.
Here we go. Listen to this.
Is it not more likely that those cases of possession would more frequently than not be the rich, the powerful, those who have attained great?
Not necessarily. And I agree with this.
Material success or wealth?
You would think so, Art, but
you would, yes.
De facto, no.
No.
Because y'all remember, I don't know, 2-3 years, maybe 4, when Super Bowl, I think it was a Super Bowl or something, and, they were all doing this one little hand gesture, and then there was something on, I think it was Beyonce's either belt or her brooch or necklace, whatever the heck it was a satanic, supposedly a satanic sign. And that's when, a lot of this too come about, that, they could be selling their souls just to get where they're at. I'm not saying that's the case, But I do remember that. I don't know if y'all do, but I remember that coming out and everybody making a big deal about it and everything. I didn't ever really look into it. I just happened to see it. I think it might have been online or even on the news. I don't remember, but I do remember them talking about it. And it wasn't just Beyonce. There were several of them.
Poor people, people with very little social resonance, people occupying very obscure positions in the social ladder. Everybody is susceptible to some ambition, something they want, either for revenge or for self-satisfaction or for self-advancement.
Yes.
And everybody is liable.
So the pact could be something as simple as the wanting or the wishing of a mate or the attention of somebody of the opposite sex, or
that's right, to get married.
To get married.
Get this man, to get this woman.
Yes.
You see, for instance, if I could do this now, I want to take the following example, but with great care. Do you remember Susan Smith?
Yes.
Okay, y'all listen to this.
Drowned her 2 children?
Of course.
Now, for an exorcist, the pattern is very clear. The children were in her way.
So he's saying she's not possessed. She just had some mental issues, bad mental issues.
Of her ambition, whatever that ambition was, it concerned a young man.
But yeah, the kids were in the way.
And an exorcist could say about that, it was obvious that they were used as obstacles. They were used by Satan to possess her will and make her commit the grievous sin
I
of
don't know about
matricide.
that now.
Because she was convicted of that anyway, so I'm not accusing her.
That's my opinion.
But that would be read by an exorcist as a typical.
Yeah, see, I don't agree with that. I think I'm done with him. I really am. I just, I don't know. I was gonna speak more on him and the whole thing with the Exorcist and stuff, but I'm not gonna do that. Anyway, hope you guys have an amazing rest of your week. This will be out tomorrow, Tuesday. So happy Tuesday, everyone. And probably put another video out in a couple of days. Do some, I don't know, some funny paranormal, or even I want to do that on that serial killer out of Florida, Tallahassee, or he was called Tallahassee. So yeah. All right, everyone. Take care. See you. Stay salty.